welcome to the Sweaty the Farmer and the Game Design, where our very talented huckleberries makes you sing the anthem of your heart. This is episode number 24, Born in the USA. I am the long-named gamer as the Sweaty.
And I am Lucho the Farmer. Thanks for joining us in this episode. This week we spread freedom in our peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
But before that, let's take a look at this week's news. Very patriot news. Warframe Freeze Manly update of 2020. Microsoft, Bungie, and Nintendo enact work from home policies in response to the coronavirus. And The Last of Us is getting an HBO TV show like Game of Thrones. So,
Okay.
the Warframe mainline update of 2020. So this is a bunch of like changes to stuff of the game, nothing big. And then apparently they put the quest. They started the starting quest for the new war.
What? Like these are big changes.
They're big changes, but they're not like super big changes.
They
They're
are
big
super
changes.
big changes. They changed the whole damage system.
I heard that they're revamping all the damage types and that sort of stuff. Like
Not only revamping, they're making fundamental changes. So before you couldn't apply a status, you couldn't get more than 100% status
yeah,
in anything. That didn't mean anything. That didn't have a meaning.
yeah.
But now you can, and you can like double apply status, and that has different effects for the different damage type.
No, so they're making like status stuff more relevant, I guess.
It is not more relevant, is that it was kind of inconsistent that you could go into more than 100%, for example, crit chance,
Yeah,
and that'll basically take you to red crits.
yeah.
And now they're doing something similar to status, but that changes the way that you build status weapons, and it kind of makes irrelevant like the status crit dual builds,
Oh, that's cool.
because those were never
Yeah, you either go
those were
one
never
side or
good
the other.
at high level.
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
fair.
You if you want to go super high level stuff, you either go all crit or all status and something like that.
Yeah, but at some point the all status was falling short just because of pure damage.
I see. I saw part of this stream. So I remember that they said that now these status mods were more relevant and they're gonna buff them. I saw the change in the self damage stuff. I saw
Yeah, but for example, they also change all the status, how status works on shotguns, that it was broken
the
before.
shotgun thingy. Yeah. The pellets
That's a
damage.
huge change, because that basically you have to recheck all the builds in
Oh
the
my God.
in shotguns that you have.
Yeah. The whole time that I was thinking is like, well, Sarin is gonna keep being powerful for farming because like the thing that she does they kind of didn't touch much.
It is not about that. It's more. It's not a problem with the Warframe abilities. It's more a problem of the weapons.
Fair enough, yeah. Is this live now or is it gonna be live
Yeah.
soon? It's live now.
No,
Cool.
this went live on Wednesday, I think.
Nice. Yeah, I was looking like all the changes for me at least seems fine. Seem fine like what I saw in the stream.
I
at
saw
least.
I saw the whole stream.
Yeah.
I approve all the changes. The self-damaging thing, I never like it. And one of my favorite weapons is the lance, so that's gonna be
Yeah.
fun.
It's gonna be nice. You're not gonna kill yourself anymore with that thing.
Yeah.
And that was the thing,
Apparently,
right?
apparently, a knockdown is kind of annoying, and you have
Yes.
to build for it now.
Well, what is a good like punishing replacement, I guess. Right?
I agree,
It's a good punishment
it's still-
replacement for not killing yourself with a weapon.
and it is still dangerous. So if you're running like endurance or high level missions,
You get tripped.
if you get knocked down,
yeah,
basically you're open to damage because you cannot move.
you're probably dead. Yeah, I understand that, which is fine, which is good.
That's
For, like-
fine. That's fair.
for like what used to kill you will still kill you, so you still have to be powerful, but that will encourage players to test more like dangerous weapon self-damage stuff.
It just opens. The thing that some people were complaining is that they added this knockback effect
Yeah.
to some weapons that have explosions before, but no self damage.
Oh, bummer.
So, for example, the static core now it
Yeah.
has the knockdown effect.
The static core? Is that the fist weapon that I love to use?
Yep.
It does have this. Why? They do
Because it
explode.
does because the knockdown is tied to explosions, not to
not to self
damage.
damage. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It is like a lot of people don't like that, but
Yeah,
I like it. It's consistent.
I yeah. In that point, yes, it's consistent. For me, it's gonna be a bummer because I love that weapon. But more than I think about it, usually when I shoot the weapon, I'm like far enough of the blast radius when I'm charging it. But it could be a bummer if like I'm spamming it very close to something and that will knock me out. That would be like super annoying. I'll probably have to like gain up distance with it. I imagine so. I'll have to experience, see how it feels, right? Because I do love my fisty weapons.
I've played a little this morning. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. Yeah.
No.
Do you have the fisticuffs weapons? You tested?
I have all the weapons.
You have all the weapons. All right.
I think the only weapons that I don't have, the only things that I don't have are the Founder Edition thing.
Oh my God, Lucho.
I have everything.
Jesus. All right. Nice. I like you more because you have everything.
I have everything. But no, like these are huge changes in
what
my
else?
opinion.
What else did they change beyond what I told you about the mods? That they're gonna change the thing that the aliens drop, the things that go into the mod that aliens drop. They're canes. They're changing
their canes. They change their canes. That's a huge change. A lot of people are not that happy about it, and I kind of get it. Like, you know the changes. Like before, you could double stack your canes.
Yes.
Now you cannot do that, but you can rank the map twice as much. So before the maximum rank was rank 3, which was 0, 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
And now you can go to 5.
All right.
To offset the fact that you cannot double stack.
But the question is like, does the buff of the arcanes makes more arcanes viable? Because I understand it like
it is maybe probably it really made it really was a nerf basically for the most powerful arcanes.
Okay.
Because they basically took the most powerful ones like energize and there's one with healing or something.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah. And they gave them cooldowns, so they can they can activate, like they activate and then they have like a 15-second cooldown or something like that.
That's a big cooldown.
Yeah. So basically, I feel like they have never wanted arcanes to be central pieces of the build.
So they never want your arcanes to be like super powerful. They want it to be like complementary power for saying something.
That's the feeling that I get from what they have said about arcanes.
Yeah.
Like they have never mentioned what I just said. It's just it has always felt to me that they see arcanes just as a bonus more than
true, because and that is reflected too in the way that you get them. Like you get them through killing aliens, and it's not a task for everybody. Like the rest of the power in Warframe is reasonably acquired through your gameplay, like mods and that sort of stuff. And
you have to go out of your way to get arcane.
Yeah, exactly. So that makes sense that they should not be like central to the quote unquote power progression of your Warframe.
Yeah, the problem is that with the double stacking thing, basically there were a couple, like maybe 2 or 3 arcanes that everyone was using no matter what.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Yeah.
and that render like 30 out of the 35 arcanes that are in the game
Useless, yeah.
virtually like inexistent.
Yeah. Which is
So
bad.
that's kind
You never
of
want that.
that's a waste of
Yeah.
things.
So
Yeah, I get it. I'm not that, and I never use them. That like I use them mainly as quality of life thing. I think I only had one, like my Eidolon hunting builds.
Yeah.
They all had the old stacking for radiation resistance.
Yeah.
Just because it was convenient, because all the powers that they cast will drain energy from your warframe.
Yeah.
So it was I had that on those builds just to avoid it.
Fair enough.
But that's more quality of life, because you are not supposed to, like, by the way the fight is designed,
Yes.
like during that energy drain phase, or when when you're taking radiation damage, you're supposed to be in operator mode to avoid all the damage.
Yes, of course, yeah. So it's just like it will help you to be a little bit lazy with the whole
Yeah,
little
exactly.
mechanic.
So if I were just to hand the first Eidolon, I could just stand in my warframe
and no
don't
care.
give
Yeah.
a shit about anything
Yeah.
in life. Which I think that's a fair use for arcades. Like,
Yeah. But
it is more like convenience that actually
that actual
you don't
power,
need
yeah. But it's as everything in life, like every time you remove power from somewhere, people are gonna get upset because
Yeah.
their toys are gonna get like depowered. Like it's happening the same in the division right now. But anyway, future topic. Any other interesting changes beyond arcade? They supposedly did a bunch of stuff for the railjack stuff. I
Railjack
didn't
was
hear anything
broken.
about that. Railjack was broken.
They did one major change for that. Like, they refounded. They basically have all the cost of building the railjack parts.
Okay, cool, nice. All right.
So they did a huge refund of materials.
Maybe they noticed that not everybody was getting their
Yeah,
railjack.
the problem is that they noticed that most people didn't have a railjack.
There you go. Yeah. So they lowered the bar, the entrance point,
which I think is fine. So, and this is something that some content creators have talked about, that when new content comes out in Warframe, it should have a high entry bar.
All right.
And as the content gets older, they should lower the bar.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, it sounds like reasonable
just because, and it's just basically just a resource sink for
old
players like me.
Yeah, veteran
that have like mountains of resources that we don't have anything to dump into, really.
So you just get like, oh yeah, something. It doesn't matter. I get so many resources.
So for example, building all the railjack pieces will cost like 6 million credit or something like that.
All right, that sounds like a ludicrous amount.
It is not, but it is not for me.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Like, you can, no matter how much I waste, like I use how many credits I use.
Yeah,
I'm always sitting around like 50 million.
50 million credits.
So yeah, it's nothing.
I don't remember how many credits do I have last time that I checked the game. I remember that I was farming credits for something in the index.
Yeah, but that's
when did I finish that farm for some?
My point is not to brag about that. It's just to say that there is a huge jump on how you play the game. So early and mid game, you're lacking resources and you need to farm for stuff.
Correct, yes.
But there is one point when it just stops being a thing.
Yeah.
And like players who are in that step, like they have just mountains of resources that they don't know what to do with.
Yeah, especially around the point when you're actually farming for relics, and you're like invested in the relic stuff and you want just prime parts. But around that point, you're like kind of resource rich.
Yeah. So it makes sense that when new stuff appears in the game, they make it like a resource dump.
Yeah.
So but after a couple of months, they should just lower the order of entry so that people.
So
don't have to farm.
have you played any of the new quest? Where are you up to the quest? I want to do some of this quest.
I'm up to date now. I've been playing a little bit sparsely, leveling up my railjack
Yeah.
because I want to be prepared for the new
war? Probably
event that is coming by the end of
the
March.
Scarlet thingy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because that's gonna be the next like lore drop.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And it's gonna involve railjack. So I wanna
Oh my god, I need to get a railjack.
You should definitely get a railjack, I agree.
Yeah. Because
I can help you with that. I've been leveling up mine.
Yeah, I want to see
but it's quite a grind actually.
You know that I love the lore drops from Warframe, so I want to see that even if I'm not been playing as much. I definitely want to see the lore drops. So
but
I'll be happy to grind for the railjack if that's what it takes to see the lore drops.
I don't like they haven't dropped any information on how it's gonna work, but the new event that is coming is gonna have basically two parts, like a railjack component and a like regular mission part.
Yeah.
But I don't know what parts of and it is allegedly gonna be like a huge lore drop to the game.
Yeah.
That's what they say. But I don't know how is it gonna work, or if they're gonna be. Oh, they also said that they're gonna put arcanes on the resort, like the event vendor that is gonna have.
Yeah.
And probably some of the resources are gonna be like Ragel specific resources and stuff.
Oof. All right. Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to level up my railjack as much as I can.
Yeah, it sounds.
I have played a little bit, not much.
It sounds like I have to get back into. There's so many things happened this month, though. I will probably have to get back into Warframe like before the end of the month.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it. But those were big changes.
Nice.
Let's see.
So
let's see how
it all sounds reasonable. Especially the damage thing and this. The other thing was that I saw was
they also added shield gating.
Yeah, the shield gating thing. Everybody's happy about that. And the other thing was like the scalability of the enemies.
The armor.
Apparently, yeah, the armor and the stuff of the enemy. Apparently, they corrected because it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, they softened the scale at which armor increases.
Yeah.
And they changed shields as well. Like shields now provide like a 25% damage reduction. And now the enemies with shields also have shield gating. If you hit them anywhere, but the shield gate doesn't apply for the weak points.
Yeah. That would be weird. Well, in Warframe there is ways to go around shields anyway, so.
Yeah, it's still bad. But since they have shield gating, like there is only one actual element that goes.
It's toxic, right? The one that's got. It's toxic or is viral?
I think it's gas.
Gas? Really?
Yeah. Viral doesn't do damage to health anymore. It now puts a debuff on the health. It's something different.
And apparently there was some. I did hear something about like projective corrosion that now is like it's not.
They nerf projective corrosion.
Yeah. Apparently, because it's the default that you
they basically nerf also all the corrosive armor removal. Yep. Like now you can remove all the armor with corrosive.
Oh, okay. That sounds like they were trying to change the meta pretty decisively with this update.
Yeah, but that's fine because basically there was one good IPS, which was slash.
Yep, correct.
And there was two good elemental damages, which were corrosive.
Corrosive, yeah. And viral.
And maybe viral, but not really.
Yeah.
Because no matter how much you have the health, when they have a lot of armor, it really doesn't matter.
Correct, yes.
So it was pretty, like, you basically build for corrosive slash, and that was it.
And like, what was, there is one that is, and viral for if you're gonna go and get like fleshy stuff all the time.
Yeah, but the problem with viral is that you didn't wanna build for viral. You wanna have viral. Like the ideal build was to have a lot of slash and a tiny little bit of viral, so that it will apply viral once, do the thing to a health, and then put a
Slashing,
lot of
yeah.
slash proc.
Yeah.
But that's counterintuitive. Like that really doesn't feel good because then you're looking for a really specific like balance of statuses and IPS, which is and it's boring. Like it defeats the whole purpose of the damage system and flash and shit and armor system in the game, which is that you should have whenever you're gonna do like high level content, you
Yeah.
should be building your weapons for each faction.
That is true. Yeah.
That's
That's the thing. What's
it
supposed to
should work.
happen.
That's how it
Yeah.
should work. And
Yeah.
that if it is not working like that, it's broken.
Yes, true. You should not have an what was the word I was looking for? Um a master of everything Warframe, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which technically that's what Loki is, but that's discussion for another point. And
No, but that doesn't have anything to do with the
with
with
the
the
with the
damage.
changes, yeah. That they change a bunch of like shields and armor from all the frames
That
apparently.
they buff a lot of armor and
Armor,
shield values for
yeah,
warframes.
which is good.
Mm,
They make a squishy Warframe less squishy. That's always okay.
It's basically like a lot of the changes are for shields.
Yeah,
Basically, they increase them so that you have a little bit more shields, and our shields are more meaningful.
cool. That is good.
That's the
Yeah,
basic
because
idea of a lot of those changes.
I've never heard of a like super shield build in Warframe. It's always you build a lot of damage, or you build health, or you build a lot of armor in case of Rhino.
I mean, like Trinity and Bolt and Heldrin had like overshield builds, kind of. But they were kind of a consequence of some of their abilities. It's not that they were really relying on that that much. And one of the biggest problems that shields have is that you don't get the like right now is that with the shield gaining,
Yeah.
you don't regain your shield gaining until the shields are fully recharged.
All right. Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
it's still tricky. I think the whole damage is in a better place now, Warframe, even though people are complaining and stuff. And
Yeah, I think time will tell. I think it's fine. I think the majority of changes are super fine, and
I,
it's just
I, I I
better.
think I think most changes are moving in the right direction.
Yes, that is true. All
That's
right.
how I feel.
This was a ginormous update, so we should have to talk a lot about it. So for the
Yep.
next news is Microsoft Bungie and Nintendo now enact work from policies in response of coronavirus. Do you think Blizzard will do
Sure,
the same?
sure, that's fine.
Do you think Blizzard will do the same with this? Well, it's fine, but things like it slow down development.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's I would rather have people healthy and companies doing as much as they can to avoid spreading the virus.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So
That's like public health should be a priority over game development.
that is true. It's a shame. So Bungie, like, it was the first one to speak about this because they are full head on into the new season, the season of the worthy. Like next week, and they're saying like, oh, maybe updates will be a little bit slower. So apologize in advance because we are in this policy, so we cannot move or patch as fast as we've been doing.
That's fine.
Yeah, and like, I think I think that there was a conversation about like if BlizzCon is gonna happen if this virus keeps going as it is.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of conversation. Like pretty much any convention and any big thing happening
It's a risk, yeah.
in the world is basically waiting to see what happens with the virus.
Yeah. You have to.
Even ThenoCon, like they usually announce ticket sales by this time of the year.
Yeah,
because Tenacon happens in the summer, like during July
Correct.
or something like that.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
So, and they just delayed that announcement.
Yep, pretty much. Everybody has to go home and stay home, apparently.
Yeah,
To
but that's
avoid the zombie
fine.
apocalypse.
Like,
But yeah.
it is. I mean, actually, where they work, they suggested the same.
Yeah, that you stay at your house?
No, that if you have traveled in the last month outside of the US, uh, you should self quarantine for at least 2 weeks if possible,
Yeah,
because that's the incubation period for the virus.
that is true. Yeah.
It's basically, if you like, it's not enforced, but it was kind of just suggested. Like,
Yeah.
if you can do it, if it is not gonna disrupt
Your workflow, etc.,
yeah,
etc.
if you can do it, do it.
Yeah, and the
But it's
thing,
again, it's not for everyone. Like, it's just like if you have traveled, if you feel like you've been exposed somewhat to a virus, or
something like that. Yeah, everybody's been like super careful with the virus, which is interesting and nice. But
being careful is fine.
it's
Like,
gonna
the
have
people,
a big impact in the economy at the long term, which
it
is the
is already
worry.
having a huge
Yeah.
impact on the, but not on the video game, on the like electronics
Yes.
market.
Yes. And apparently, I heard from a friend that the like business market is slowing down, and they're waiting for like a soon to be crisis inside the proper like global market because of the slowdown of the coronavirus.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. There is nothing.
Well,
I mean,
hopefully, yeah,
there's nothing we can do about it until
that is
like
true.
we have better like
The thing is
testing
like,
available and a
yeah,
vaccine or something or treatment for.
the thing is like a vaccine is a year-ish away
Yeah,
by
they're supposed
estimates.
to start like human trials at some point during the summer.
Yeah. So the proper vaccine is like a year-ish away by estimates of the scientific community, but they're trying to go as fast as they can.
Yeah,
Solve
but
the
we'll
problem.
see what happens. It's
Yeah. And for a final little bit of news, adding a little bit of levity to the news. What? No, I don't want this. Why is Google putting me there? Don't do it, Google. The Last of Us is getting an HBO TV show.
isn't that called what is the famous zombie series?
The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead. Yeah.
I
I
used to
don't know what
watch
you're
The Walking
saying.
Dead a lot. I used to watch it like, but at some
Oh,
point I was like, this is too much.
I fell asleep. I tried to watch the first episodes. I fall asleep. I fell asleep.
Fair enough.
Don't care. Don't care at all. But isn't that what a
But the
TV
thing is
series
like
about The
the
Last
thing
of
is
Us
like The
is?
Last of Us is like ACM, like a small network thing, and it's based on the comics. And
Oh,
the
so it's
comics
gonna
are
be
really
shit because it's not gonna be The Walking Dead.
and the thing about The Walking Dead is that the zombies are very John Romero zombies, so they're not like danger zombies. The most like funnily enough, if you read the comics, the most interesting thing in the comics are the people, right? The people to people
as it
conflict.
should be in any good
Zombie movie,
story.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
But that means that like but the last like by the end of the comics where the series is now, it is terrible because it's like a novel. Like it's a post-apocalyptic people killing people because the zombies are almost gone. Right? There's horde of zombies, but they are dying
But
out.
that's I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah, which is fine. But the thing is
Like, no,
like
if the characters are well developed
yeah,
and you have interesting stories to tell about them,
yeah.
it's fine.
That's why The Walking Dead survives so long. But the thing is like there's some points in the comics which are difficult to sell on TV. Anyways, it's another thing entirely. So they're gonna do The Last of Us, which is the interesting part in The Last of Us is that the zombies are very aggressive and very fast. So are like kind of the last. There was a movie about like very aggressive zombies. Anyways, and let's see how they work the story, because the setting is very interesting, and the reason why the game is so successful is because the story and the relationship between these two characters, between Ellie and the dude, is very good, right? The story like it can be any generic zombie setting. That's what I'm saying, right? Can be any generic, but the characters and the story between the characters is what made the game great, right? So
Sure.
in the same thing, they have to do a really good job telling an interesting story, because it's just a generic zombie apocalypse scenario.
All zombies are generic zombie apocalypse scenario.
Fair enough. So yeah, hopefully
All zombies are the same shit. They're just zombies.
yeah, hopefully they do an interesting story too, as good as the game, I guess, but who knows. HBO has good TV. It says HBO in general.
Who
has
is gonna
good-
make it?
good
HBO?
shows. Yeah, HBO is gonna
If it is HBO, it may have a chance.
yeah, there you go. HBO is gonna make it. Yeah.
Then,
From the director,
it could be good.
to the PlayStation trailer. And they're bringing the game director from The Last of Us of Naughty Dog. And the
Mistake, big mistake.
no, and this is very good. The director from Chernobyl, the miniseries, is an amazing miniseries. He's gonna direct this.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But the game
He's very good
director, I don't trust the game director.
Yeah, he's teaming up with the game director. I imagine that I hope that he's in a type of consultory type of thing, where he's like, yeah, this makes sense in the lore, this not make sense in the lore, and not anything else. You know what I mean?
I don't think I don't think the game director is the right person to do that job.
Why not?
I don't know how much involvement the game director has in like the storytelling part of the game.
He has to have
Not necessarily.
he has to have if it's a good game director, he has finger in all the pies and knows exactly.
Yeah, but okay, but that's one thing is having
but
like
especially
touching everything. Another thing is being the person who like actually knows.
But
how
especially
storytelling
he
works.
should be the man, because especially like The Last of Us, you have a very story driven game, right?
Sure, but then it probably has writers and
A team of writers.
yeah, and probably a person who is on top of them is the more adequate person to do that than the game director.
I don't see a problem with it.
Oh, I see a full problem. Like game and TV shows are a completely different medium.
That is
and
true.
They require, and the only thing that could connect those
Yeah.
is the writing, the scripting.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like the people who wrote for the game
Yeah.
are better suited to contribute to a TV show than the game director.
That could be it, yeah. Maybe he could, if he's an able game director, he probably bring his lead writer, or like his creative writing director, which is the person above, like that supervise that side of the thing.
That will make more sense to me.
Yeah.
Because the game director is probably more concerned about like just managing the team than actually
Managing
doing
the
the
teams.
stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, so he doesn't really know what's going. Like he knows what's going on,
Yeah.
big picture,
Yes, that is true.
but he doesn't know what's up with the like
Super
the
minutia
pacing of the
thing.
story and that kind of stuff. Like
Well,
he oversees and he gets snippets and he says, "Yeah, that feels right."
yes.
But the level of
it
involvement.
depends. It depends. There's a very different types. Like there's a very different types of game directors, and they have like very different ways to direct games. That's what the next thing I'll say. There's some more involved. There's some less involved, and there's like examples of all types of different game directors in the industry. I think I will say that about it. So it depends on what type of game director he is.
No, I think any. I think no matter how much involvement that person has, if it is a big team, it cannot have the expertise of the people that were doing the work.
Well, as with the Monster Hunter movie, we wish them the best of luck. I
Yes,
saw,
I still think it's a mistake.
in a video, I saw the trailer that they're showing for the Monster Hunter movie, and
No, I
apparently,
haven't.
and it was like filmed in a theater, like very very dodgy, like, and apparently the story is like they go to the world of the Monster Hunter, and the general is there, the one with the white hair,
The commander?
the commander, the commander is in the movie, and
Cool.
and the handler is in the movie.
Cool. That's fine.
And that's not the crazy. The things like the quest of the movie is to close the portal because there are monsters that are coming from the Monster Hunter world to the real world. So there is like a
That
scene when there is a couple of monsters fighting in the middle of a mall.
that could be interesting. That's kind of the premise of the collaboration, like the in-game collaboration with The Witcher.
Yeah.
That there was a portal that opened and the Witcher monsters were invading
Yes.
the world of Monster Hunter.
Correct. That's why we got the legend.
Yeah. So as a premise, sure, fine.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there is a precedent for that being a thing in the game, at least.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. I mean, like when you're making a movie, you have to make smart decisions, smart production decisions.
Yeah, of course.
And if like chipping out and saying, okay, they're gonna fight in a mall, which it may look a little bit silly, if that frees up time of like animators and stuff to do like CGI, instead of doing CGI jungles, they focus all the efforts on the CGI monsters.
Yeah.
And it delivers a better result. Sure.
Fair enough.
I don't have a problem with that a priori until I see the product.
Well, all right.
If it is just gonna be junk and silly, yeah, then we can criticize the decision.
Yeah, fair enough. I have the feeling that all these projects have been greenlighted in the midst of like the success of the Witcher series.
Sure, that's for sure true.
Yeah. That's what the feeling that I get.
I wonder how long was this Monster Hunter project?
This Monster Hunter project was being long. I am referring to the Last of Us thing.
That
Because this is more
if
recent.
it was just greenlit, sure.
Yeah, this was super recent.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Like if you are, imagine that you're a director and you really want to do a series or a movie based on a video game franchise.
Yeah.
You have to and you see that this other one is successful. That's your window to pitch the thing that you want to do if you're really passionate about it.
Yeah.
So I don't see nothing inherently wrong with that.
Yeah.
If that's the case, if it is just companies cashing out on the
which is more often
which
than not
is gonna happen. No, I mean not necessarily. It's gonna happen as well.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Like I believe both things are gonna happen. Just companies wanting to cash in on the success. But as long as they're bringing people who are passionate about the projects, they have a chance of being successful.
Yeah, fair enough.
But we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. Anyways, and that's it. We will. That's it for the news of this week. We'll move to our deep dive. Please, Lucho, can you read the disclaimer while I go and turn on a light?
Yeah. So all the discussions that we have from now on are mostly based on our in-game experiences and our recollection from the games that we talk about. We will and we may get some of the things wrong. And you can always contact us and yell at us and wrong, and we'll say, okay.
Okay, we're wrong.
I mean, yeah, we're gonna get things wrong. It's mostly always an experience.
Fair enough. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the disclaimer here. And what is our deep dive for today? Today we're starting a trilogy and analyzing in the midst of the release of the new DLC for The Division 2, Tom Clancy's The Division 2. gonna be analyzing the game The Division 2 as the update before Warlords of New York. I will give some feedback because I'm the one playing Warlords of New York, so I'll give some feedback how things have changed. But for what is what the baseline gameplay hasn't changed at all. Like it's still The Division. Nothing revolutionary has changed. Balance things for sure. More story tidbits for sure. But the baseline that we were going to discuss is still the same, right? Still The Division, you still go and shoot people in a third-person shooter environment.
Pew pew.
Pew pew, yeah. So, to start with, gunplay and basics, a tactical shooter that we all enjoy. So tell me about it. The gameplay of The Division 2 is super cool, man.
It is funny for me because I'm not a big fan of like tactical shooters. I prefer action shooters.
Yeah.
For the most part. But this one is definitely a more tactical shooter. Like you have to care about cover and line of sight and
correct
and being strategic. You cannot go guns blazing into the face of the enemies.
Yeah, you could, but you can end up like dead very fast.
Yeah, so you can't.
Yeah, you can, but it's not not very good to do.
So it is not an efficient strategy. You're not gonna accomplish anything doing that.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Unless like generally you do that when there's like one or two enemies left, and that's it. Then you just want to like move on. But in the beginning of fights,
sure, but no, but that's a silly disclaimer.
All right, fair enough.
Because the scenario when you're just against two enemies in the game is 1% of the gameplay.
That is true. Yeah, they're very far and few between.
maybe when you're like running around collecting shit around the city.
Yeah.
That's the only scenario you're gonna be like face to face to one or two enemies.
Yes.
That's not how the missions play. That's not how anything really plays in the game.
That is true. So it's really cool to not just like be an action shooter, but you actually have to
Yeah, but
see...
it is not like that's my point. It is not an action shooter.
Yeah. And it's very, very interesting because when we started to play, the game actually forced us to think about like where we're positioned and where were the enemy position and what should we do to go through this scenario and one of the like very cool things about The Division is that makes you think about like what the level has and where to stand yourself and what you're doing.
Well, that is one of the biggest strengths of the game is the level design on itself.
Yeah.
Which is the thing that makes you actually think about positioning and spamming points and chokes and cover and stuff like that.
Yes.
That's why the tactical like a tactical shooter only works if the levels themselves are good.
Correct.
If your level is just a corridor full of crates on the side where you can just go from side to side,
it's pointless.
It's pointless. That's not
even like The Division has something like that. There's a scenario was like there is a corridor and there's a bunch of boxes that lights up, like in the interest of one of the levels. But it makes it so.
It's a 10-meter corridor. It's just the beginning of a mission,
and it's still very compelling. That's what I was gonna say. Like it's still very strategic. Very even in that
it is compelling because it is just again. Or just 10 meters of one mission.
Yes, correct.
That's why it works, because it was used once.
Yes.
Maybe twice in the game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You can do it. I'm just exaggerating an example of what a bad level design is. Like if all the game is just corridors with boxes that you have to hide and jump from box to box, then it's boring. But
but definitely
that's what in my mind makes a tactical shooter work.
Correct.
That the level design makes you think about actually being tactical.
Yes. That and it actually like kind of goes to the skill of the shooting too. Like it doesn't forget that you're actually shooting a gun, and then the gun has recoil and it moves and
Yeah, but to be completely fair, it is not that hard to shoot with the division weapons.
I missed a lot of shoot. I missed a lot of bullets with snipers. Maybe I'm just bad at sniping. No.
Yeah, but snipers are kind of jank in the division too.
Yeah. I found out recently that they actually have like bullet drop off at
Yes, they
some
do,
point. Yeah, which is very
which
cool.
is very realistic as well. But
Yeah. Yeah.
that's just kind of jank. Like,
Yes.
but that's fine. Like, that's fine. Like, that's you're giving you're giving me again an example of one weapon type.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes. But
sure, are you bad with the snipers? Maybe.
maybe. Yeah.
I don't know, but
But yeah, so it's very good. Like the shooting all the weapons feels super good. The sign of the sounds of the weapon, they all sounds different. They all have different responsiveness. I really
I
like,
like.
yeah,
No, go ahead.
I really like the fact that when you are shooting and you're playing with a gun, it feels like super different to the other types of guns, right? And nothing feels generic. Even between types of the same section of the gun, between types of LMGs and between types of SMGs, they tend to feel different and sound a little bit different. And I like that. I like that they really highlight the personalities, quote unquote, of the gun types in the game.
I I will disagree with you
All
on
right.
that specifically. I feel like a lot of the weapons feel kind of samey. Like a lot of the SMGs,
Inside the
like
categories. Yeah, inside
yeah.
of, yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
No, so okay, I'll give you that. Like between weapon, like in
Between
in
weapon
between
types?
categories,
Yeah.
sure, they're different.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the SMGs, like they live on a spectrum of rate of fire and accuracy, but there's a lot of things in that spectrum,
Yeah.
but there is a big blob in the middle that feels kind of samey,
Fair enough. Fair
and
enough.
I feel like all the weapons have that same kind of problem.
I I have maybe because of my recent experience with Warlords, but I have feel like when I've been playing this expansion, I felt the difference more than before. I will agree with you. Like yes, in division in the base game that we play before the expansion, it definitely feels samey. But now that I'm playing this new expansion, they are starting to feel different between categories, which is most maybe it's my impressions of the recent expansion that I've been playing. So not
Maybe,
sure.
but
Yeah,
I would even argue that they shouldn't feel that different
fair enough.
because they
Yeah,
are recreations of like
real
real world
weapon.
weapons.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And like I'm not a weapons guy,
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
but from what I have heard, like there are a lot of weapons of different manufacturers that it feels kind of the same,
Fair enough. Yeah,
and that's the point.
yeah. You don't want to be like very like
No, like if
so
you
far
train your
off.
soldiers
Yeah.
to train them with one weapon, you don't want them like you probably have a supply of different manufacturers for
Yeah,
different weapons,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and you want the skills to be transferable. So
Yeah,
I will assume that a lot of the assault rifles should feel kind of the same
yeah.
if you are gonna like no like that
Yeah,
like that makes sense.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
and since the Vision 2 is kind of a recreation of like real world weapons, it makes sense to me that a lot of them feel kind of samey, but that's not a thing for this game
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
because I'm buying on the fantasy that these are real weapons.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I don't expect like SMGs that came from the same company a couple of years apart feel astronomically different between them.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. That is true. That I will agree with you. Yeah.
That's it. It sounded like a bad thing, but I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. And with that, like, and with that, like, very very good like shooting experience, you complemented with the interesting kind of fantasy abilities of the game. And like the majority of the abilities are very cool. Like to after a bunch of passes balancing some of the abilities, and now with the expansion with the new abilities, all the abilities feel like they have a purpose, and they're like very, they make you feel
Did they
like very good.
finally make bio all skill power builds?
Yes. By TU7, which was after the second episode.
But are they bio now, or that's
And
what they
Warlords
say?
is another discussion differently, because they're right now in Warlords, like I will tell you, like I didn't want to talk about this because it's more recent stuff, but right now everything feels under power because they modify all the difficulties, right? And
That's fine.
the thing is, like, we are now in a point where no matter what build you use, the tanks, the heavy tanks, feel super body spongy,
Uh,
right? So
that's fine. Uh, that's fine. I don't like. Do you have an in-game viable build now?
no.
So that's that. No, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, they could feel too tough now, but that's because maybe you haven't reached the
Yes.
point where they're not supposed to.
But there's already people who are rich in game and they're farming
No,
heroic.
no. You know what I think of that.
I know.
That's what I'm asking you.
Yes, I'm doing like in terms of difficulty, I'm in challenging. So what's been happening is, like, I have middle of the road builds.
For middle of the road difficulty, that sounds fine.
So I have middle of the road, like a skill build, which works fine with every type of enemies except with armor enemies. Right?
That's fine.
So,
That sounds perfectly reasonable.
but the thing is, like, I changed yesterday. I was like, oh yeah, so my skill build works better with fine with groups and that. But as soon as a tank with a bunch of armor comes in, it takes me like 2 years to kill, and I have to kite it, and I have to kite him for like half a year, and then I changed to a gun build, and it was not a problem.
I mean, it could be just a problem that you still don't have the right amount of humph in your skill build to deal with.
Who knows? Apparently, because they removed damage to elites, which was helping a lot against those armored
Oh, they
elites.
did.
Yeah, they
Interesting.
removed damage to elites from the game. It's gone.
Interesting.
Yeah. Right? And now
That's a good change.
they replace it with damage to armor.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that was the replacement, right? They removed damage to elites, which work through the whole spectrum, and now they replace it directly with damage to armor. Because what is happening is, like, I tried to put my mind into, like, the developer's idea of what these changes for difficulties, and it's something like, all right, yeah, the tank, the super armor guy should feel dangerous, right? And that's okay.
But it's more than that. Like, remember that one of the selling points of the heavy armor units is that they were supposed to have like these breakable armor pieces.
Correct. Yeah.
That you were supposed to aim for first.
Yes.
And then kill the guy.
Yeah.
So if you can get a build that basically ignores that design from the beginning, then maybe something has to change.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah. But like what I mean is, like how I feel before, it was like, even with me having damage to elites, when I was like playing my skill build, I went to a scenario, and then I like kind of lower the things, and then I did kind of a cycle of, like, throw my abilities, like the red bars were almost always dead, and then the rest elites, they take damage, and then I have to do another rotation of damage. And then the armor, what I will do with the armor is, like, I shoot him in the weak point till a weak point is discovered, and I keep, like, throwing the the abilities to him, and right, and that will work, right? That sounds feasible. Right now, it's like I throw my abilities, and yes, they are weaker, but everything is kind of dying. But the armor dude is like it takes forever for me to even like remove a piece of armor. To the point that I've been forced to like take a shotgun just to remove the armor from the dude. Right? Because shotgun does damage to armor. That's the only reason. And nothing else. So I'm sitting there for like and it's in a stream for like 20 minutes, like going from cover to cover, and this guy just chasing me while I shoot him with a shotgun for like 15 minutes till I broke one piece of armor.
I mean, that could be that you are still not at the point where you should be able to do what you want,
But
which is fine.
The ridiculous thing is like everything else I can do like relatively like in sense. Like it makes sense that is, and it's not the highest difficulty. Like you have challenging, and then you have heroic, and then you have legendary. I'm in the middle of the difficulty with like a full, not a perfect set, but like every piece of set that I want for the build baseline, and like some good like god rolls in my weapons. And I still am having trouble with like removing a piece of armor from a heavy.
It doesn't sound that bad.
Right.
No, you cannot judge those things in the middle of the game. You have to reach the end.
The problem is
build
like
and see what happens.
The problem is like
all problems could disappear with an end game build.
Who knows? Because
yeah, exactly. You don't know that.
But what it feels is like I should be farming in challenging, right? Because if you go too hard, you end up with like 2 gold drops in the entire like whatever you're farming, and the rest are like they lower the gold drops in higher difficulties.
Sure, that's fine,
right? So it's gonna take like 5 times more to actually like get some decent like gold drops to start building stuff. To start building your stuff. So it's like a lot of and the farming feels bad because of those armor units, even in hard, right? In hard, even takes you like forever to kill one armor unit.
Like you have to like again. I won't take any of your experience as valid until you reach end game.
Well, I'm technically on end game.
I asked you, do you have an end game viable build? You told me no.
Because nobody knows what an endgame build is right now. Like I technically, like I was seeing a video yesterday if I did like, yeah, I do heroic and legendary with this build. And I have exactly the same build. And he's exactly the same things. Like if you have an armor unit, make sure to get a weapon, make sure to get a shotgun with like a lot of damage to armor.
That is fine. It's the only
way to actually strip the armor. And
that sounds absolutely fine to me.
But well, then the question is like, do you find it reasonable if you have an endgame build, like you have all the pieces that you want, not perfect, but you have all the pieces of you want for a build, and the weapons that you want for a build, right? And even I have a weapon with god roll weapon damage, right? And it takes you an hour and 20 minutes to go through one mission in challenging, in the middle difficulty.
Alone or with people?
Alone. Which should be easier because the scalability is insane.
Alone, it's fine.
For 1 hour and a half, one mission.
Yes. The mission 2 is a cooperative game, so yes.
All right.
It's a co-op game.
All right.
It was never designed as a solo experience.
It was never designed as a solo experience. Fair enough.
So, yes.
All right. Now that I'm playing solo is so sad. Takes me forever to do anything. That's been my experience in the expansion. Like I feel a little bit on the power because I was able to do a lot of stuff by myself before the expansion.
Maybe the build that you're aiming for is not a good build, and that's all.
Build that I'm aiming for is not a good build. I'm aiming for like a lot of builds, but anyways.
Maybe the one that you are describing right now to me, it may not be a good build.
It's weird because I ended up in builds that are supposed to be good, and there's videos.
They were supposed, exactly. They may not be.
I don't understand.
Those two are different things. Like there are things that work on paper, but they don't work in reality.
Work on paper, they
You
work
should
reality.
know and understand these things that are playing Magic.
I know. There's things that don't work on paper. I don't know. Maybe I was thinking last night there maybe is a problem of that the actual damage to armor stat is really relevant.
What I'm saying is that you should put the blame on yourself first before the game.
Yes, that will surely you do. There's like a bunch of like you know how it's Reddit, so there's a bunch of like echo chambers in there saying that the game is back to super sponginess, which I
I
felt with
don't
the
and
armors.
I don't give a
Which
shit about what Reddit people say.
fair enough, yeah. But
I have never done
in
that.
my experience, I felt it a little bit with the bosses and the tanks that they take a lot of a very much long time that normal yellows with armor.
Okay,
Yeah,
again, it could be just that the specific build that you're using is
maybe
not a very good one.
maybe. I mean, I've been playing the game for like 3 days, like the
That's
expansion for like 3 days.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe.
You have to play more. You have to arrive to probably a more powerful build, and then we'll talk about how the game feels.
Yeah, I did like though. I will say this, and I did like the directive stuff. That was very interesting. They put modifiers in the war into the open war, so you can put like more modifiers to get more XP in whatever difficulty you want. I
Sure.
like it a lot. Anyways, so yeah, the tactical shooter is very good in this game. Playing the game is super enjoyable. Like fighting against the dudes is really cool.
Yes,
Yes,
but in my opinion, the only reason is the level design.
yes. So yes, the level design in this game is superb. We have played a mission around like 60 to 50 times, and we never find like boring or not engaging because the level design in this game is that good, is that strong.
Yeah,
That every time you go and engage with a level is different. Is you have to think about it. You have to think how to approach it. Even if you know the level and everything else, you know kind of like position and that sort of stuff. So yeah, the level design, and it's always cool to look at the level design in this game. They always have like very cool scenarios and different kind of spaces. Sometimes it's like very small spaces, sometimes are very big spaces, and sometimes they're like very vertical spaces. So yeah, that makes the gunplay and the gameplay of the division even more enjoyable because of the good level design of the game. Yeah,
sure.
that we agree. So now leveling and campaign of the Division 2. How do you feel about the whole story and the leveling process in the Division 2?
Those are different questions.
Yeah, how do you feel about the leveling process in Division 2? Sorry.
Um, I never felt it really. Like we play the campaign story and the side missions, and I was max level before we finished clearing all the missions.
Yeah,
So I never really felt the. I feel like the amount of missions plus side quests or
yeah,
side missions in the game were a good amount in between saying like there was no levels left out for me.
yeah,
So I'm just saying that there is a right. They tune it right. So the amount of missions that you have to full clear the map
yes,
and the max level, quote unquote.
yeah, progression. So it's a very smooth process,
I never
right?
really felt it.
Yeah. If you
So
do it,
we clear all the missions in normal,
yeah.
and by that point we were max level.
Yes, it was a very smooth process. Like if you do it as intended, it's super smooth. Like you go explore the map, you gain experience, you find some random conflicts, and you do them, and you gain a little bit more experience while you go from one mission to the other. And then when you arrive to the mission, you're the correct or even higher level for that main mission that you're supposed to do. So everything feels super smooth into the leveling in the
Yeah.
leveling process. Super smooth. Like if you do it as intended, if you don't try to rush it, even it's super fine. And me as experience that I rushed one of the characters while I was leveling up, even then it feels super smooth. It feels super like everything flowed. Like, oh yeah, so I need this level to be this level to get to this main mission. Fair. All right, I get there, I get the level, I probably level up, and then the next it asks me for like 2 more levels. So like, if I want to be on level, then I go and do a side mission, and that probably give me enough experience to go to the next main mission on level. So it's super smooth, and it flows into the game as you're playing it, right?
Yeah.
And they give you enough rewards while you're leveling up. They give you enough opportunity to kind of like test the weapons to see what you like while you're leveling up, because everything is like nice and do enough damage for you to test the different type of gameplays that I like a lot. That they let you kind of like the way that the leveling process works is like while you are leveling up, if everything is in your level, the weapons that they're giving you should do enough damage so you can test them and the playstyle. And then when you are at level 30, then by that point you kind of know what you like in the game in terms of guns and playstyles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think about the war tiers that they're no longer in?
I like that idea. I
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, I really like the feeling of like the game world kind of evolving and changing with you. I really like that idea of like, oh yeah, you're not in the next tier. So now the enemies are difficult, and you're gonna see more of these enemies, etc., etc. That process, I like it a lot. And then the gear score was fine as a progression point. Um, so yeah, I really like the leveling
It
leveling
was
process.
good because I never had to
Think about it.
think about it.
Yeah.
So,
So it was super smooth. It's like just level up, you're a happy chap, and you're just playing because it's good, right?
yeah.
And now, what about the campaign? Did you like the campaign? We're gonna go deeper and learn in the next
I mean,
podcast, but
the story is just a cheesy 80s action movie story. So it does a decent job at keeping you somewhat entertained.
yeah, well, you go through the pew pew scenarios.
It's not gonna change your
Your life, yeah.
world. It's not gonna blow your mind at all.
No,
It's
but
not the
it's
most. It's an 80s action movie.
correct. Correct.
It's you are the last agent, and we are calling you because of this MacGuffin that happened, and you are the last bastion of hope for humanity. Go fucking rescue a president.
Go rescue the puppies from the burning building, or something like that.
Go fucking rescue a president. That's one of the missions.
Yes, correct. Go rescue the president. That's one of the missions. So
It doesn't get more cheesy 80s action movie. That's not a bad thing. It's I like that. Like it's
Yeah.
but it's not a deep story. It doesn't have deep characters that are telling compelling stories. They rely more on the shock factor kind of thingy of, oh, this thing happened. And that's all. Like,
yeah. Oh no, the tragedy. But it has some interesting points, like the spoiler
no, it
alert.
doesn't.
Well, it has some good dramatic 80s
No,
cheesy points.
no, it does not have any dramatic turns.
Right? You don't like the bombing of the settlement?
It doesn't mean anything.
It's not sad? I find it like sad.
No, it's not sad.
All right.
Because you haven't built any, like, you don't care about those NPCs at all.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It's one of those things that when you think about it, it should be sad.
Yes.
Does it make you feel anything when it happened during the game? No.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah,
So
with that I agree.
It is an effective emotional turning point? No. It is an effective storytelling device in the game? No.
Okay.
Is it serviceable as somehow background for the game? Sure.
All right. I get you.
Like no, like honestly speaking, is it a good story?
It's
Not really.
fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Like
Yeah.
it's average. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
good. It's again, it's Rambo. Like Rambo is not a. It's a movie with not really a good story.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't mean that it's not entertaining and that you
That is
cannot
true.
enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those are different things. Like
Yeah, yeah.
me criticizing the story of the game doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy it.
All right, fair
I
enough.
still enjoyed it and I had fun playing it. And like the scenarios are kind of ridiculous at times.
Yeah.
And I had fun playing them.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But
All right.
objectively speaking, like when you remove yourself and you think, okay, was this a story that was telling something meaningful and profound?
No.
Yeah, but that's the whole point of a good story. Like
Yeah, if you're yes. I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know.
no,
I know what you
it's
mean.
just a good story is something that should stick with you
Yeah.
and make you think about
Yes.
stuff.
Stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is true. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You go rescue the president. Pew 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 pew. Oh no, president is bad
Yeah.
because virus and MacGuffin.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely. Yes. Yeah. I think the story plays more a relevant role of like kind of um what is the word I'm looking for? Kind of like give you reasons for why you play as you play, something like that. I don't know.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the story is more in service of the gameplay than anything else. And it's more in the service of the gameplay and the scenarios, the
Oh,
interesting level of
absolutely.
scenarios that being a super good story, etc., etc.
If you think about it, like the main character of these games are the cities where they're based
Yes,
more than the NPCs or even ourselves as the player.
correct. Yeah, yeah.
Like the principal thing of about the game are these like faithful to life recreation of, for
Of
this
iconic
case,
cities.
for Washington DC.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I feel like what they did was, okay, we're picking this city, which is super important for American story history and has a bunch of monuments and things that
Yeah, and
people
iconic
recognize.
landmarks. Yeah, yeah.
We are gonna pick places that are recognizable.
Yeah,
We're gonna build good level design in those places,
yeah.
and then we are gonna put a story to connect. Why are you going there?
Yes.
That's what the story is.
Yes, yes,
We have a
absolutely.
really good mission on the Aerospace Museum.
Yeah,
Cool. The mission, excellent. The level, amazing.
yeah.
Go get
Go
the
stop
paper
missiles.
thing
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
Like they have
go and have
computer things
bring
that
a
you have to
radio.
destroy.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. That's maybe that's why that's why I have like this idea that the Division 2 story is better than what it is, because the gameplay is so good that kind of like you know what I mean, that it kind of like it feels like better than it is, right?
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
And I agree. Like I enjoyed a lot playing it.
yeah.
It's a really enjoyable ride.
Yeah.
It's just that when you remove yourself a little bit from the game
It's
and you
not-
actually think about
Yeah.
no, like when you're playing the video game, you actually and the gameplay is good, you enjoy what's happening. Like,
Yeah. You feel
it's
you,
just
you
fun.
get invested, even if it's like not the
Yeah.
same.
It is fun to do, so
Yeah.
that's fine. You just need like you take a step back and you think, oh, was this story good? Yeah, no. Does that matter or diminishes your enjoyment of the game?
No. Yeah.
That's the thing. It doesn't have to.
Yeah, that is true. I agree with you in that. So there you go for the leveling and the campaign in Division 2. So the leveling is super smooth, the campaign fine and serviceable for what the game wants you to play with.
Well, one thing that I will say about the campaign is the side missions are
Yeah.
They don't have good reasons to exist more than we have cool places to go.
Yes. And
Which is
like,
something that we have talked about in other games. Are the side missions in this game good?
yeah, all right, yeah. As the
Ah,
assignment, they are
as
good in the
as
fact
as
that
levels,
yes,
they are fantastic.
yes,
As
correct.
a storytelling devices,
They're Superman. Yeah,
eh,
I remember that the first one that we did, the police station one. No,
yeah,
there's the police station one. Yeah, when you the only thing that you have to go is like one of the first NPC, one of the second NPCs, one of the NPCs that manages one of the settlements tells you like, there is a thing in a
yeah.
police station that I used to work with. And you're like,
Go get
okay,
it.
go get it. And you're like,
Okay.
nice. Yeah. The other one is the water fountain. Yeah. Which is go to this
Yes.
museum because there is a water source there. And that's it. We just want access to a water source. The level is fantastic. But
Yes.
the premise is like, all right, I got you the water source. Congratulations. We have water. We have clean water. Nice.
It's they serve. The only thing that is nice is that like experiencing the settlements grow and like
Yeah.
getting new things.
Yes.
It's really cool.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So side missions as a device to see that progress in like that visual progress in the game, it's nice. So
Yes.
when you're
Yes.
playing the game for the first time, you have a fresh character. Like you do these missions because it's cool to see the settlements grow.
Yes. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And they change what they
They
have and they change
change, they have more people,
Yeah.
everything gets better.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And the
Yes.
missions themselves are cool.
Yes.
But do they develop the characters and the world more? Not really.
They I think they became I think for that part of developing the characters or whatever, the strongholds are better at doing that. Right? I like telling
Barely.
you about the leader of this faction, what he
Yeah,
does, and what the philosophy is, and blah blah
tiny little
blah.
bit.
Yeah, they're a little bit better for that.
You know what does a really good job? The echo things that you find across the world.
Yes, yes, to develop the characters and the stuff, the recordings and the echoes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like those help a lot the immersion in the game.
yeah. They're
But the problem is that you have to bother about
activating.
getting them
Yeah,
and like paying attention to them.
yeah. But still, they're a very cool device that I haven't seen in other games to show you backstory.
And I like that they are kind of a middle ground of the thing that we have always talked about, because they have some of them have some narration going on, like
Yeah.
it's not narration, but it's like recorded voice going,
Yes.
and they come with this like visual particle thingy that appears,
Yeah.
and it could work. The problem is that you have to care
Yes.
for the story. Like you could go through the game and not pay
Whoa.
and not pay attention to those.
Yeah.
But if you do, they're reasonably good at delivering
Bits and
snippets
pieces.
of the world, which is what
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah, yeah. The same with the recordings, which is like just voice recordings
Yeah.
of conversations. They're good too, and they notify. I like that the game notifies you of those tidbits.
Sure.
It's like, there is a voice recording or echo nearby or something like that.
I like the recordings a lot,
Yeah.
because they sprinkle like some flavor, because those things really don't develop any of the characters really,
Yeah.
more than just painting a picture of what happened at the moment the city went down,
Yeah. So it makes the
which
world.
I think is an amazing concept for
yeah,
the game.
it makes the setting feel more realistic and more
Yeah.
more fleshed out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, and that helps you imagine. Even if the story, even if
It
the
does.
main story is not fantastic, even if the main characters are not the best characters in the world, that realism and that kind of immersion carries the weaker parts of the story.
It does. It does. I'm not saying, and this is a different point. Like, I believe that the world is well fleshed out.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that the story missions are not the strong point of that development.
Fair enough. Well, we will dive
Yeah.
deeper in the next podcast. But anyway, moving on. The loot handling of the loot system in the Division 2. You put here that is in between Destiny 2 and Borderlands.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, the game throws weapons at you in the face and like gear,
Yeah,
just not as much as Borderlands, but
correct.
more than Destiny 2.
Yes.
So
You
that's
mean
it.
that's your point.
It's exactly what it says.
But well, I will say one thing, and the thing is the thing about the Division that first, like, because we jump into Division just after playing Destiny, was it that we were playing at that point? We were playing something before jumping into the Division.
We're playing Destiny,
Yeah.
and I told you about the open beta for the game.
Yeah. So before we were playing Destiny, and then we start playing Division, and the changing of like how much loot. No, we were playing Anthem. Oh my god. Yeah, we were playing Anthem.
You were playing Anthem.
Yeah.
I played like one day of that game.
I know. I was playing Anthem. Anyways, and the difference between the game gives you loot everywhere. Like everything is openable, everything is catchable, which makes sense in the thing about the game that everything is destroyed, so you need a lot of resources to do stuff. So it makes sense that you can scavenge everything that you can find reasonable, right?
Yeah.
And that feels good. That feels good that you can open and investigate, and if you go, and every time that you go and explore the city, you always feel rewarded because there's always a chest, there's always loot to get, there's always something in the crevice, a secret or something like that. So the game is very generous with the loot that it gives you in general. You never feel that you're not being rewarded for your time invested in the game, in anything that you're doing.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, no. But my comment about being in between Destiny 2 and Borderlands is not about that. It's just about the sheer amount.
The sheer amount?
It's just that in Destiny 2, sometimes it feels that you have to do a lot to get some loot.
Yep.
And in Borderlands, you look at an enemy and it explodes in loot.
Yeah. So is it a good balance? Will you say?
It is. Again, I'm just using these two other games that we have talked about before.
Yeah.
Just to put it in perspective.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the right. I feel like it was all the right amount for Division 2.
Yes. I agree with that. It never feel like too little. It never feel like too much. It always feels like.
It always felt like after a session of a couple of hours, you had to some like cleaning, which is fine.
Yeah.
So you could sit down for like 4 or 5 hours, play, and by the end of that session, you will need to some cleanup.
Yeah, some loot cleanup.
Which I think is a fair balance of things.
Yes. And in that topic, like, did you ever feel the complaint of people that the game was more loot management than anything else?
That's what the game is about. Like,
yeah, I see. I thought exactly the same thing every time I saw that complaint. It's like, it's a looter shooter. What were you expecting?
Even if you don't want to call it that, like, it was always clear that the game was about loot. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know why were they expecting.
Yeah. Even if like in this expansion they did the changes to have like a library when you can collect rolls and you don't need the piece of gear to recalibrate, it still feels like I still want to keep my loot around, and you want certain pieces and you're collecting more stuff to get more stuff, which is fine. That's the point of the game. Like it actually lowered the upkeep of the loot that you keep on you, which is perfect. So sure. I feel like with this change, the only thing that they did is like a quality of life thing more than the nature of the game, which is the looting.
That's fine.
Stuff. Yeah. All right, cool. So yeah, the loot. Now we're going to talk about build diversity, and the balance of the game in the way that the items are constructed. So what do you think about build and build diversity in the division.
It was always perfect for me because I was lucky.
Yeah. The story goes that Lucho, for reasons, find himself with like a build that lasted all the game from the beginning.
It remained in previous.
And I
to all
struggled
the
like a
changes.
crazy person. And he was just like, but assault rifles are good, so.
No, like, my reasoning was simple. It's LMGs are too like I don't like the reload time.
Yeah,
SMGs too effective. You have to be like super in the face.
yeah,
Shotguns have the same problem, and like still enemies like will hit hard if you're too close to them,
correct.
especially heavy units.
Yeah,
And that left me with snipers. They always felt junk to me because they have fall off and all these
Yeah.
things I didn't want to
Yeah.
deal with. So it left me with two types of guns that I find were
ARs and rifles.
easy to use, which were assault rifles and just rifles.
Yeah,
So I said, I'm gonna pick a rifle. Like I had a survivalist,
yeah,
and it buffs assault rifles
Assault rifle, yeah.
by at the beginning of the game.
yes, at the beginning. Yeah.
It's how it was designed. So I said, okay, I have a survivalist. It will eventually buff all my assault rifles. I'm gonna do an assault rifle SMG build.
Yeah,
And that's what I did. And it just happened like by chance.
By
Like,
chance,
I
chance.
took this decision based on just being convenient for me.
Yeah,
Because
just
assault rifles
the flow of the game.
are the most boring weapon. Medium damage, medium
Yeah.
reload time, like medium fire rate. It's just easy to use.
And it was very natural because the idea was like, oh, Lucho's going for the AR kind of halfway combat, and then I went at sniper, right? Because I like the sniper rifles, and like he was the close combat dude, I was the long combat dude, and that was the decision. But he was
but
luckier.
It just happened by chance
Yeah,
that throughout all, let's call it like vanilla Destiny 2,
yeah. Vanilla
the
Division 2.
most effective build was damage to elites, pure damage AR build.
Yes, and he would
And
just
that's what I
like
did because also
Yeah.
I thought, should I go into skills?
Yeah,
And I didn't really like any of the like special skills that the survivalist has.
yeah.
And I thought, nah, I'm gonna do the easiest shit is just go for weapon damage. Because it was the thing, like I'm gonna go for as much survivability I can because we were playing together.
Yeah.
And basically I was just gonna be the front face of the team.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna choose as much survivability as I can, and then I'm gonna fit as much like raw damage that I can.
Yeah.
And that basic build just was the meta.
Yeah. For like forever.
For years was the meta. So I got lucky. Was the game balanced? Yeah, perfectly balanced.
Oh my god.
I was very lucky with that build.
He was very lucky with the builds and stuff of the mission. So that's the story. And he never felt any struggle. I struggle a lot to try to find pieces to do stuff with the rifle, and then I started doing a skill build because I really like the seeker mines, and then I struggled with that till they balanced the actual skill build, which I was doing to play solo. Anyways, and I have like this crazy journey through builds. But basically what I ended up doing is like I did the sniper rifle build, which I still have on the sniper, which is fine. It's just damage for a sniper, but it's not like the most meta thing. It works. It doesn't work in every situation as the lucky AR build works.
No, also to be fair, a lot of the levels are not sniper friendly.
Yeah, true. They're more mid-rangey kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely mid-range weapons are more suitable for most scenarios.
Yeah. Like there's sometimes that
either
the
long
sniper,
range or super close range.
There's some scenarios that the snipers are useful, but they're not the norm. I think that's the thing, right?
No, it's not that there are no scenarios. It's that there are a good portion of maps that are just not suitable for sniping.
Yeah, correct. So I was just unlucky. And then after that, I did the skill build, which is fine, just was fine. And after I think the second episode, when they buff all the skills and they make everything, it was super fun to just go and cluster bomb everybody and fight and yeah, that was fun for me at least. And then yeah, but
I think, I mean, from what I remember, by the end, by around when I stopped playing the game,
yeah, it was around TU6 that you stopped playing the
yeah,
game.
by that time, the most meta build was actually a
A super tank.
LMG SMG build.
Yeah, and it was a super tank, if I'm not wrong. So it was like
Yeah,
all blues in with unstoppable force and that sort of stuff.
yeah, but it like by that point the meta has shifted,
Yeah,
like shifted. It just the strongest build were either SMG, LMG builds or like rifle builds.
yeah,
Not a sniper rifle, but just rifle
rifle.
build.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the AR were not bad, but they were not the most efficient one.
Yes, correct. They
They
were
were
still
still good.
viable. Yeah, they were still
Yeah,
viable, totally viable.
but the game definitely started with a serious lack of like viable build diversity, and it
Yes,
increased it throughout the game, throughout the life of the game.
yeah,
It just yeah, it's just that a lot of and I feel like it's hard to balance because of the way the maps are designed.
yeah,
They really favor mid range weapons.
correct. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, they really favor ritual weapon. And I like. Don't get me wrong. Is viable. Like generally, you can take like close range weapons, but they're generally a complement to whatever you're actually doing, right?
Yeah, I mean you usually have. I mean, I was running with an SMG
Yeah,
because I was running an exotic SMG, but it was useful. Like if an enemy was rushing to my face, I'll just
yeah,
switch and shoot it in the face when it was near, like next to me. But
yeah. So yeah, so basically, what happened at the beginning is like the majority of things revolve around the mid range because that's how the majority of levels, the encounters on the levels are mid range encounters. People rushing you, people at mid distances. They're like one or two people very far, but you can like close the gap if you're using a mid range weapon the majority of the time. So that's what shapes it up. And at the beginning there was like weapon damage was king. I remember this. Like weapon damage was king, and then you just want to do as much. And what was the better weapon to do a lot of damage in bursts? There was the AR, and then they started rebalancing everything. They got better to rebalance everything as the game went through. Like by after I would say by a little bit after the 2 months after the release of the raid, everything was balanced. Like everything was viable. Like at TU6, which was when they rebalanced all the skill
yeah,
stuff, from that point on, all the builds were fine. Like and we have huge build diversity, even with the sets and everything else.
yeah, yeah. I agree. The sets were never that meta, but they
There were
had
some
uses.
points, yeah. The points on and off where the sets were meta and non meta. They were like
I
kind
never
of.
saw a point where any of the sets was really meta.
It was because it was after the that rebalance that I'm talking about, the TU6 rebalance, when the sets started to be like a little bit more useful.
I played TU6. In TU6, they were not meta at all.
Well, maybe it was in TU7. Anyways, like by the end of the first year, hardware was meta. Aces and eights was useful in the raid. Uh, what was the other one?
Aces and Eights was always useful in the raid.
Yeah,
It just got better with time,
hardware
but
got.
it was always useful.
Yeah, hardware because it got buff and they modified a little bit. It got meta for skill builds because of the cooldown was better than anything else, and it's still useful now. The hardware set, for example, but it's difficult because in the loot handling of the division, they always try to strike a balance where sets like green sets, where we're talking about like these items when you put like two of the items of the same set of the same name, and it gives you uh, uh, an ability different from the brand sets from the game, which is three sets of the same kind of brand that gives you three different like stats boosting. Right, that's the difference between the two, the gear
Yeah,
sets and the brand sets. Anyways, so you can think about it like brand sets being legendary in Diablo 3, for example, and gear sets being the sets of Diablo 3. Kind of that's the
sure.
comparison, yeah. So and they always try to strike a balance where, because in the Division 1 gear sets were super meta all the time, they try to strike a balance of not doing that again and make their legendaries relevant.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah, it was always a struggle. Yeah,
it is just that I don't think anyone can build a balanced game from the beginning.
it's the same thing that we've been saying for like a lot of episodes. That build a balance from the beginning is very hard to do, especially when you
I,
have so much itemization in a game.
not only that, I don't think it's possible. It is impossible for a quote unquote small team of testers to
Yep,
figure out all the weird interactions between the things in the game. Even for
absolutely.
the developers, like you may program something thinking that it's going to interact with the systems in the game in a way,
Yeah,
but you're just not certain of how things are going to interact
correct.
because programs are just so large.
Yep,
So it is impossible to be balanced from the get go.
correct.
Once you will only be able to rebalance things once you have millions of players or at least hundreds of thousands of players.
That gives you all that feedback if something that have find those super weird corner cases and super
Yeah,
strange interactions, and then with you find out what is on
yeah,
balance
and
and what
and
is
you
not.
have to iron those
Yeah,
outliers out.
yeah, definitely, definitely. But it was always I found that the gear and the items in the Division 2 were always interesting.
Yeah, I mean, once you had a build in mind, uh, it was. I don't think it was interesting, but it was always useful to get new stuff.
Yeah, and like because I remember points where I find a piece of gear, and then I think like, oh, these rolls in this piece of gears are super interesting to do X build. I will keep it, right? That's when I say that itemization are interesting, right?
Sure, yeah,
Yeah, when it gives you those moments of like, oh, this piece may be better, good, even if you're not looking for it, right? This piece is good for maybe this thing, so I will keep it and hanging around maybe in
I,
the
I, I
future.
think I think that is too overwhelming for most people, and I think most people will choose a wheel to go for
Yeah,
and farm for that instead of just keeping stuff just because.
but yeah, I this is a point like it's more personal. I like when item system gives
The,
me
the, the
that.
point is that that could be overwhelming for a lot of people,
Yes, that is true. I will not deny that.
and that there is an argument to be made why that is not a good thing.
Oh, fair enough. All right, that's difficult for me. That's a good thing in an item system.
Yeah, but if you're overwhelming your players, then you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot.
Yes. Hence, the division and the in this new expansion simplified a lot of items to stop overwhelming the players.
Yeah, I don't know how much that happened in the division. To be fair, I'm just saying that it could happen.
Yes, fair enough. But I'm telling you, but for the expansion, that simplifies a lot of items in the
Yeah,
game.
that could be a good thing. I don't
Yeah.
see it could work, and that's all I'm saying.
So yeah. So to close this point, I think the items in the division are fine, and the build diversity is interesting, and it has a lot of space for it to like be balanced. I think that's my point.
ARs for the win.
Yes. Freaking Lucho. Lucky bastard. Oh my god. They're
AR
still
SMG build for the win.
they are still viable. Like all the
course they are
like
viable.
very, very farming builds that I've seen like these couple of days that the expansion's been out is like ARs and LMGs just wrecking stuff.
I don't expect ARs to be bad at any point in the game
Yeah.
just because of the level design.
That is, I will absolutely agree with you.
just the level design favors mid range a lot.
And the way that the encounters are structured, are built.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, just by the way that the level is designed, that forces the encounters to be for the most part mid range encounters. So that's like, unless they nerf to the ground
ARs,
so they make zero damage. And like they're stable, they don't have that big of a spread.
Yeah, that's true.
So for farming, they're comfortable builds usually.
Yeah.
That you don't have to think that much, and you just have to click on faces. And
yes. All right, now we're gonna talk about the other piece of the gear thing, that is exotic farming, and I will add to this name weapons and armor, which was the thing that they introduced in TU7.
Yeah, I was aware of the name thing.
Yeah. So what do you think about exotics? They have changed a lot in this. So we're gonna talk about Division 2 before the Warlord expansion.
What did they change?
They removed the holster to all the weapons. The holster talents to all the exotics. They're gone.
Oh, they don't have holster talent.
Nope, not anymore. None of them. And now they have only one perk, or sometimes two.
Interesting. Why did they do that?
Because they felt that they were never being used as a main gun, and they want exotic to be used as the main gun.
Oh, fair. Yeah. Which is true. A lot of the exotics were were used more as like stat sticks than actually.
So that's the reason why they remove holster talent.
Yeah, that was what the SMG that I used was.
Yeah, that was the major change that they did to exotics.
I mean, it's kind of annoying, but that makes sense.
And then they say that they're reworking a bunch of them because what I feel like right now, what they did was put some like placeholder things because they don't feel that powerful to be exotic. But they say that they're gonna rework a bunch of old exotics to be as powerful as like main weapons. And I'll give you the example of that. And it's like the last LMG, the last LMG exotic that they released with this update is clearly a main weapon because it's an LMG exotic that you don't have to reload. That's the exotic perk. And it does decent damage, and it has decent like rate of fire. And the thing is like, yeah, you can shoot this LMG for forever without reloading, which is brilliant for an LMG exotic.
What is the downside of that?
Nothing.
That's a bad weapon design.
I know. Maybe maybe it doesn't have.
That's not a good weapon.
Maybe it doesn't have as much damage as the rest of the LMG. That would be the downside I'll put on it. But for now, that's what we know about exotics, right?
All I have to say about that is all exotics have to have downside. Because if you don't do that, then you just make all their weapons irrelevant.
Yes. Hopefully they realize this soon.
No, they probably know it, but they must have downsides.
Yes.
Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
Then you're removing from the game 99% of the items.
Yeah, I guess that the easiest way is like not have them deal that much damage.
No, it doesn't have to that. It can be something else. Damage is not the only balancing thing.
Yeah, but for now they're saying that they're like reworking a lot of old exotics.
That's fine
because of the new system that they are now. When you don't have that many talents.
like feels bad because a lot of the like holster talents were
Yes.
really good in the exotics.
Yeah.
But it feels bad, but I feel why they will do it. Like I agree with the logic behind the change.
Yeah, and the armor exotics, for the most part, they didn't touch it. They reworked some of them, but for the most part, they didn't touch the majority of them.
That's fair. They were never that broken, and you can only have one.
Yeah.
It's just that you have more armor slots than you have weapon slots.
Yes.
So there is just more diversity built in that fact.
Yes. So the thing is, like, they're right now they're reworking all weapon exotics. For the
That's fine.
old weapon exotics, the majority of the time there were holster talents in other
Yeah,
slots.
they were statistics.
Yeah, the statistics, which is not a great thing about exotic, as we talk about it, that we always say that exotics should change the way you play.
It definitely shouldn't.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, it should
they shouldn't be used just for the stats or perks
or
in this
the ability,
case.
whatever it does. Yeah, it should be used as a game.
It should be a good weapon in itself. Yeah.
Yeah, and that too. It should be a good weapon in itself, and it should do something different.
Yes.
From other weapons, like
which, yeah, that's the problem. Is that the thing? Like the way that the exotics weapons used to change the way that you played was by the holster talent.
That's why the only true exotic that I like was the rifle that did explosive damage.
Yeah,
it was really different.
But
it was good if you use it, especially if you build around it, right?
Yeah. But the holster talent of that rifle was just trash.
Yes, but I mean that's what as exotic is supposed to be like. He wants it to use it more and to build around what it does, because there was not a weapon in the game that dealt explosive damage when you were shooting it.
Fair.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring. That's a good exotic kind of thing, right?
I mean, it is. I will argue the exotics were good exotics in the sense that they will change the way that you play.
Yeah.
So, for example, using the shatter books,
all right,
will make you reload after each kill, and that's basically changing the way that you play the game. So you have to include that in your gameplay loop.
Yes.
So in that sense, they were good exotic.
All right.
The problem is that they were weapons, and they didn't feel like weapons. So if this perk was on a holster or
that would be
on
perfect,
gloves or something on gear, fair enough.
Yes.
The problem is that for weapons, the thing that is game changing shouldn't be a passive thing. It should be an active thing.
Yeah, that's why I say the rifle was the better one.
That rifle
in that category.
It was a bad rifle.
It was it, but in that category, it was like the exotic that make you use it, right? And that make you build.
Yeah, but then again, just doing explosive damage doesn't change really the way that you play.
But it changed the way that you build around it.
Yes, but that doesn't change the way that you play.
Do. Yeah, fair enough.
Which is the whole point of an exotic. An exotic should change the way that you play.
All right, fair enough.
Not only the build, like fair enough, like you find this exotic that makes you change the way that you play, then you build around the exotic.
Yes.
Fine. But it should change the way that you play.
Fair enough.
That's why Chatterbox was good.
Yeah.
Like it included something in your gameplay each time. So each time that you kill, you were reloading.
Yeah.
And that was something new that you didn't have to do before.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's hard. Like I
agree. It's hard.
I agree why they were doing the change. Let's see what happens with exotics then.
Yeah, let's see what will happen with all the redesign to exotics. Anyway, moving on to group play. How was group play in the division? It was
always fun.
Always fun. It was always good, chaotic. Everybody has stuff to do. Like, you can see all the different play styles of the people going around when you got into groups and that sort of stuff. Anything more to add?
I mean,
Yes.
it's kind of a boring game to play alone, to be fair.
Yes. It is clearly designed to be a group play game.
Yes, it is, but it is like in the forefront of the game.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not subtle.
It is not subtle about it. It's like playing solo in the division is really punishing.
Not only punishing, it's just boring.
Yes.
Because you have to be too careful,
Yes, that is true.
and that takes away from the power of fantasy.
Correct.
So if you're playing to be John Wick, like he's still tactical, but he is fun, like going around.
Yeah.
Playing the division solo doesn't feel like that because you have to stay behind the cover,
Yeah.
reload, look that there is nothing, then move. Then fuck, a heavy unit, and you have to kite it out of the room.
Correct. Yeah.
So it takes too much from the power fantasy of the action movie that it's trying to play.
Which is like for people. Personally, I don't mind it. Like I don't mind it. I don't mind that level of difficulty because it makes it feel interesting for me, at least as a tactical thing. But it's not for everybody.
It just drags the game long for no good reason. It is exactly what you were complaining about at the beginning of this discussion.
All right, fair enough.
That you didn't want to, like, that's the point. Like, you don't want to kite an enemy for 15 minutes.
Yes, all right, fair enough. Before the podcast, we're talking about it.
So if you're gonna say that, then don't come here now saying, "Oh, I enjoy it." Now, if you enjoy it, and then you have no right to complain about that.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, no, it's clearly designed for group play. Like, it's understandable. Like, solo play is very hard in the division, and
yeah, but it's not hard because the difficulty is not like a mechanical difficulty.
No. Yeah.
It is just endurance. It's just long and boring, and you have to be careful.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, it's the same reason why. Did you watch, like, I sent you a couple of months ago a video of a guy talking about difficulty in Vanilla WoW? And he was saying that the difficulty in Vanilla WoW was more of an endurance difficulty, that you just have to be careful and slow.
Yes.
It's like solo playing in the Division 2 is the same kind of difficulty.
Yeah, you have to be careful and slow, yeah.
Slow?
Yes.
But the game is clearly not designed to be like a slow game.
No, if you like it, no.
Yeah. It is not. It's just not.
Yes.
So
you need friends, basically. Preferably play with friends.
Yeah.
And in that point, in terms of gameplay, the group play is very good. Like it's very actually very dynamic, etc. People take more risks.
That idea of covering different roles is really interesting.
Yeah.
Like in a tactical shooter kind of thing.
So
I enjoy that loop very much.
Yeah, you have the aggressive guy, the sniper, the build guy, even healers for role if you want to help your team out.
Yeah.
And everybody has a role. Everybody does damage. In that sense, the group play is very good. Apparently, in the last expansion, the scalability to 4 players is a little bit broken.
Too hard?
What?
Too hard or too easy?
Too spongy. They're saying that it's like when you start playing 4 groups, it's like super spongy, even with red enemies.
Sure, maybe. Yeah. People with shitty builds.
Yes. Like, but they're saying that even in like hard difficulty, they're like ridiculous spongy to be a red enemies. With
people with shitty builds. They should have stopped fighting enemies with Nerf guns.
All right. In marshmallow guns, that's what they say.
Marshmallow guns, that's...
Anyways, and now for a controversial part of this podcast, the raid.
It was good.
It was
I really
good
like it.
raid. It was excellent raid. Even if I didn't finish it, and Lucho will forever shun me for this.
Yes, I will.
Every single chance that he got.
Yes, I will.
And the raid was fantastic. Like, there was a big controversy around the fact that it required a lot of aiming, precision and aiming, and the control
a shooting
dudes.
game, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and the
It should
control,
involve aiming.
the people on the consoles were not able to finish it because it required a lot of
PC
precision
Master
aiming.
Race.
And Lucho was fine with all this controversy, of course.
That's what you get.
But yeah,
If you're gonna play in a console, you have to take all the consequences of your decisions.
okay. we love you, console players. Don't stop listening to the podcast. It's fine. I have a controller. I have 2 controllers, in fact. And sometimes I commit heresy and I play with a controller on my PC.
Yeah, sadly enough, not all they don't make all the games, all the good games exclusive for PC. And the controller skins when they port them are just shit.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Monster Hunter.
Yes. So yeah, the raid was good for what the game is. It is very well developed, and the encounters are interesting.
Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like the mechanics were not that hard to learn.
Yes.
And the encounters were engaging enough.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't autopilot the raid.
Correct. And it's an 8-player raid to give you the context.
Yeah.
And it's super fun. Like I was like a very cool experience to do the raid. With all the mechanics and all the things and the encounters were very different between each encounter, which was interesting. Like the first encounter were like kind of like tower thing with DPS checks in between and protect certain towers, and then shoot down stuff by numbers. I remember this, like the alpha consoles that you have to shoot down.
Yeah, the ABC console that you have to shoot down, because if you don't, they raise like invulnerability shield.
Yeah,
for the enemies.
And like it was a small room, so it makes it super tense to run around and fight enemies and that sort of stuff. And then the next encounter was
the airplane encounter. Like you'll divide the team into 4 main groups, and you'll have these 2 gases that will that you're supposed to interchange between both groups.
Yeah.
Like one will give you a debuff to damage, and the other one will give you a debuff to health.
Yes.
So you're supposed to exchange about buffs so that you can, like, one side of the room can kill their enemies, then change the debuffs so that they're just gonna have like a downtime phase where they're hiding and kiting the enemies while the other half of the room is killing. And once they down, like there are 2 bosses in each side, and once both of them are down, then last boss comes down. Which is, I think that the debuffing balance thing is an interesting mechanic.
Yeah, it was super cool. And then after that
it is a basic stacking mechanic in WoW. If you think about it.
Yes, absolutely. It's a basic stacks. You're changing
it's a stack
stacks.
management mechanic.
Yes, correct. And then after that we have Lucy and Lucky. It is the 2 doggos. The 2 tank doggos, which you have. That's the basic mechanic of you have to kill them at the same time, and they do 2 different things.
And you have to tank them far apart.
Yes.
So again, if you think about this in terms of WoW, it's basic mechanics. You have to keep the bosses apart.
Yes.
Kill them at the same time, and they basically alternate abilities that you have to interrupt. So one of the doggos will drop some balls that you have to kill so that they don't stagger the other thing, which is a basic interrupt.
And the other will 360.
The other guy is just like a break line of sight.
Yeah.
Attack.
Yes. So cool. It's good.
It is good. It is.
Yeah.
But those are easy mechanics. So the first thing that you learn that you have to tank them, quote unquote, apart.
Yeah.
You learn that one of them you have to break line of sight for one of the attacks, and for the other one you have to interrupt the stagger that it will put on people.
Yeah. Which is
there is nothing else to that.
But in the context of the division, is very they're very cool encounters. That's one of the
They are
ones.
real. Yeah, I'm kind of oversimplifying the mechanics,
Yeah.
but they're good encounters.
Yeah, they're good encounters. And then the last boss, which is the Razorback, which
Yeah.
is the Tower of Doom. And that it requires like some setup because you have like all these drones that comes around, and then you have like rotations with activating the weak points, and then you have to
Yeah,
kill a
basically.
heavy, which is
Yeah,
like
you
an
have.
elite mob that you before the elite mob kills you.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
fine,
you,
but it's
yeah,
it was that encounter was really fun. It
yeah,
required a lot of, or like good coordination more
yes,
than a lot of, but like a good coordinated team where everyone would activate the thing at the same time. You will
yes,
have to coordinate grenades and things,
yeah,
and then everyone was moving to one side, coordinating heals, killing the thing,
yeah,
and doing this phase of killing multiple times.
yes. And it was amazing raid, right? We want more of it, which we will get soonish. And the only downside to the raid is like we didn't get more in a year.
Yeah, that was a big problem. That a
Yeah,
lot of people reached the point where they were farming the raid, and there was nothing else to do for them.
yeah. So it was sad.
And that's I was doing that at some point. Like I would log in once a week, farm the raid. I never got the exotic rifle there. Was sad, but
Yeah, but yeah,
but there was nothing else like for most people
yeah.
in the
So the
game.
only downside of the raid is that there was not more of raids more sooner. We will get
Yes,
one soon, but we want more raids.
yes,
Yes.
they have to come
Yeah.
more. It's just one every year is not enough.
Yeah, one every year is definitely not enough. All right, and to finish the deep dive, PvP and Dark Zones, which is the big selling point of the Division 2.
It is. I mean, for the
The Dark
Division
Zone is the big selling
franchise to
point,
be,
right?
yeah, the Dark Zone, which
Yeah.
is a big gimmick of the Division
Yes.
franchise.
Correct. What do you think about it?
It's exciting to
Yes.
the Dark Zone. The other PvP, which is like normal shooting
Conflict, yeah.
PvP.
4 against
That's
4 stuff, yeah.
yeah, 4 against 4, like capture the flag or just kill everyone. Eh.
It's fine, but eh.
It's fine if that's your thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of meh for me.
Yeah.
The Dark Zones on their hand, they're really exciting.
Yes.
They're really scary.
Yes, which is the point of the Dark Zone, right? That you
Yeah,
are fighting for
which I
loot.
like.
Yes. So if you like the Dark Zones, like you're gonna like more than you like. There was this big controversy around the Dark Zones that they were being not scary enough because of the normalized stuff, and then there was things with balance, and that they were not being populated enough, and then they fixed that with the population cap. There's something they feel alone, and now for the last this last update, they remove normalization in the Dark Zones.
Yeah, that's fine. Like,
Yeah.
I agree with that because I like the fact that they're not afraid of having PvP where the gear matters.
Yes.
Which is something that for some reason, it just people think that PvP should be balanced when it really doesn't have to.
No, the only place that PvP should be balanced is in conflict, where you are going to like a kind of a quote unquote competitive 4-on-4.
No, if you wanna balance PvP thing, go and play Counter-Strike.
All right,
that's the end of that discussion.
Yeah, fair enough. Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's not. It's not like the Division 2 is not Counter-Strike. So
correct.
I applaud the fact that what is the whole gimmick of PvP in the Division 2 that is unbalanced. That your farming matters.
Yes, correct.
That guy that has better gear than me is gonna kill me faster.
Yes, and you have to run away from him.
That's fine. Like that's the whole gimmick that they just let people run crazy with that.
Yes. So it's a very cool thing to do. They're very scary zones, very cool level zones.
Yeah.
And right now, there are not normalizations, and there are more populations in this dark zone. So you will more able to find between 8 to 12 people in a server, in a instance of the dark
In
zone.
an instance, that is important.
Yeah.
That is definitely
To,
important.
because at the beginning it was like a lot of people say, "Oh, I went to the dark zone and I run forever. There was nobody in it." And they have like this
Sure.
problem of like tearing and sort of stuff because of the normalization. So they're all removing all this and just leave the dark zone run what it is. And that's
Just
that
let it
is the
rip.
interesting things. Like if you go in there, you know that it is dangerous. That's the point, and you have to feel
Yes.
that danger, right? That was the
I agree.
better thing. And the other quality of life change that they did recently was like now you can see the stats of your corrupted gear.
Oh, that is.
Which is just a quality
That
of life thing that if you're farming for
is
something
it?
specific,
Is it though?
you can have like situations where a lot of people are fighting for like this god roll weapon.
Fair.
Yeah.
Like that could be interesting, but
Yeah, yeah.
then that's probably not gonna be the norm. Like, no.
Yeah, but I think it's fine for what because of the stash that you can carry around when the dark zone is
Yeah,
small.
no, but it makes it less interesting. It's a thing about like gambling. It just makes it less interesting.
Well, yeah, they remove that part of the gambling part
But,
of the
but
dark zone.
that's what's cool about that loot.
No, I don't mind it.
I think showing the stats takes away from the little exciting thing. Oh, I really hope I get something good.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, that will diminish the
It
experience a
takes
little bit.
away that.
Yeah,
It makes it kind of, oh, I don't care about this piece of shit weapon, and you leave it there.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
that removes, like, that's gonna happen a lot.
But
Because to be fair, like most of the loot that you get in the game is shit
yeah, but like
at some point.
But then if because of targeted loot right now, Dark Zones has targeting loot. So if you were targeting certain piece of loot, you are gonna leave a lot of loot behind anyways.
Even with targeting loot, most of the things that you're gonna get are gonna be trash because at some point you're gonna be looking for specific roles in the specific thing.
Fair enough. All right.
So you're gonna look at the thing, you're gonna say, trash, trash.
Yeah. But beyond
And then,
that, yeah.
then what is the point? Like you're gonna be running around. Like as soon as you get one thing that may be good for you, you're just gonna run out of like to extract. Instead
Okay.
of hoarding like all the 8 or 10 slots that you have, and
Well, yeah, it
like
will change the pace.
that feels more dangerous. Like hoarding, like filling up your bags of contaminated gear
Yeah.
and then extracting all of it. It is an all-in gamble.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah.
That feels with more stakes. It may be more useless because sure you get 8 pieces of gear, but they are all trash.
Yeah.
And now instead of like being an exciting fight for the trash, you're just gonna leave the trash behind, and you remove the exciting part.
All right. Fair enough. So maybe to the detriment of the Dark Zone in that sense.
In my opinion,
Yeah, but still,
I could be wrong.
but still, the experience is very cool. I find it very interesting.
It is a very cool gimmick.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, and yeah, this is what makes the division, basically.
Yeah,
Which has this.
it is the whole selling point of the division.
Yeah, which has this savage PvP VE zone.
Yeah,
Yeah, with like risky loot, and that's it for a deep dive today. We're gonna pass to our audience questions and feedback. Remember, if you want to ask your burning questions, or you're gonna tell us that we are wrong in every shape, way, and form, you can write us down to like our emails. You can write it down to our Twitter. You can shoot us a personal message. You can pass by my stream and ask questions there about the podcast and what the episode has, etc., etc. So please do. And our first question of today is, how was your first raid experience in WoW? I think that's for me, right?
That is. I was just talking to a friend and
Yeah,
like at work, and we were talking about WoW,
yeah,
and I told him, I'm playing with this friend, and he played his first. He completed his first raid
yeah.
just like yesterday. And he was like, "Oh, what did he thought about it?" I said, "I don't know. I think he liked it, but I don't know." So
I love it, man. It was cool. It was so cool. I got a very deep like sense of progression and that I accomplished something cool with like a bunch of dudes and people, and it was like I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the different of the fights, the place that you play, like the role that you play is inside the whole progression thing and showing up and do this like group project, quote unquote, of
yeah,
like
it's a long-term project.
yeah.
That's
This very cool group project. So by the end of it, I was super satisfied. I loved the intensity at the end of the Nasod fight. That was I was gonna tell you about. That one that between the raid leader and the other dude were like, yeah, keep DPS. No, do this. Blah blah blah. It was like very cool.
I have to admit something. I was
Yeah.
annoyed by that guy.
Really? You were annoyed by
Yeah.
the that was the other tank, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You I mean,
I
I may be
understand. It's part
rash.
of the emotion. Like he was like.
Yes, but no. That's
Yes, but no.
it's
All right. It shouldn't be
it,
done.
it,
I understand that. Like,
no. There is a there is a protocol to this thing,
yes,
and
correct.
you notice that when we're raiding, only either the raid leader or actually like Dark, who's the guild leader,
Yeah.
are the ones who speak.
Yes.
And at some point during one of the fights, they changed the calls. Like it was Dark, the one who was making the call,
Yes.
but it's only one person,
Yeah.
and you respect that.
Yes.
It is it is rude to come as an invited player to a raid and give instructions over the raid leader.
Was he uninvited? Like, was he not
Yeah,
a
he's
usual
not
raid?
part of the regular raid team.
Oh, okay. Oh, fair enough.
He was invited because we were one person short.
Oh, okay. Well, in
One
that
of the
sense, I
tanks
was
had
right.
have a last minute problem and he couldn't show up in time.
So maybe I thought it was like kind of like a sport of like emotional moment thing from one of the
Even
regulars.
no, but that's the point.
No,
Even if
I thought
that's
it
the
was.
case,
I didn't know that it was not one of the regulars. You know what I mean? We put it
yeah.
in this
Okay,
context.
fair enough.
Yeah,
But you've been like you've been raiding with us for the last 6 weeks.
yeah.
You know who the regulars are.
Yes. I didn't notice. Like, I
You
didn't know
know
because
the
I
regular
don't.
group of people that
Yeah,
show up to raid me.
yeah. I didn't notice that it was not a regular who was.
Yeah, so that was kind of. I get it. At like no, I felt that wasn't sitting well with Dark.
Yes. All right. Yeah. I understand why. Yeah. Yes.
And I don't think the raid leaders. I don't think he cared about that.
Yeah. Yes.
Because we ended up getting the kill.
Yes.
Fine, it's fine. But I don't know. It is just, dude. It's like getting invited to someone's house and just start shouting and kicking stuff around.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I didn't know. Like, I didn't like saw the whole context of the thing.
But
So
but
for
it
me, it was
wasn't that
not
hard
that
to see.
bad.
Like not even the regular people that talk in between fights. Not even them talk during the fight.
Yeah. It was very weird, but I don't know. I didn't like.
There
I
is
didn't.
there is one person making the calls.
Yeah, I didn't mind. I think that's my point.
I don't, it's just not right.
Fair enough. But beyond that, it was fantastic. Like
It
the
is. It
scenarios
is.
and the raid as a thing. It
What
was like
do you think
super cool.
of the raid as a raid?
what do you think of the raid as a raid, like as an activity?
like the Nihilote, right?
I
What's your opinion?
cannot say because I don't have enough experience doing. Like I've been
Sure.
traveling with you through the raids.
That's not representative of.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if I can form good enough opinion.
But you can have an opinion. Like,
yeah,
did you
I like
enjoy
it. I did like it. I enjoyed it. I like it. I enjoyed. I
That's-
enjoyed the boss fights. I enjoyed the place. I enjoyed the scenario. The tentacly thing, very very purple thing. I like it. I like that kind of horror, kind of eldritch thing. So yeah,
Nice.
I love it. It was really fantastic. I'm really looking forward to do heroic. I'm really looking forward to do the next raid in Shadowlands. I will keep showing up to do it.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I really.
Yeah.
You notice that even in the weeks that I'm super busy, I will show up.
Yeah.
Even if it is just those 2 hours during the night,
And
and I'll have to disappear afterwards because I have to keep working.
I find it super endearing that by now, like the guild leader and Sin are like expecting me to show up.
Yeah, I mean,
Like the week that was that I put a maybe and that I was sick, they were like super worried and asking me, "Are you gonna show up?" and blah blah blah. I find that super endearing. That gives me more incentive to show up.
But that's, I mean, when you sign up for the raid, like when you show up your interest
Yeah.
on being part of the raid, it's not a commitment. Like you don't have to be, but
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's cool. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. It's like
And that's my point. I think it's so cool that even when I'm super busy, I can take off 4 hours a week.
Yeah.
And do that.
Yes, absolutely. And it's been a super cool experience, like with these dudes and everything.
And yeah, it helps that this guild is like super chill.
I feel sad that they don't have enough raiders because, like,
it's just some of the regulars have had like real life stuff going on.
Yeah.
And they cannot show up.
Yeah. Which happens.
And like for example, during the summer, I will for sure miss raid night because I'll be traveling and I have conferences to go, and it's really hard to raid on my laptop.
Yeah.
But I know, I like they are an amazing group of people.
Yeah.
They take it seriously, but not too extreme.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes. So like for me, it's like they should have more raiders. Like, why? It's such a cool experience, and there's such a cool group. Why more people don't show up? I don't understand.
I mean, like most people in WoW don't raid.
Yeah, that is true.
That's still something that not a lot of that is not like not all the community takes part into that.
Yeah.
Even though I agree with you, it's super cool raiding.
Yeah.
I'm glad you like it. I hope you keep showing up.
Absolutely.
As you saw, even if I don't do anything else, even if I don't play anything else during the week,
you saw on the launching day of the Division 2 expansion, I was like, I have to show up even like even with all the things and whatever I'm doing. Like I was playing League of Legends and I was like, no, I'm gonna go and raid. Bye. They were like, but don't go. Play more. Yes. Like, no.
You have to go.
Yeah.
My people need me.
Exactly like that. So yes, it was a very cool experience.
I like that feeling. It's just I don't know. I like that feeling of I know that for those 2 hours or 4 hours a week, I'm gonna be doing that.
Yeah.
Even if I don't do anything else.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So it was great. And for a second question of the week, what expectations do you have for Shadowlands?
Oh, I have no expectations.
You have no expectation, none?
Building up expectation is a mistake.
It will be what it be?
Yeah.
My only expectations for Shadowlands is that I'm gonna get to play from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's my only expectation.
That just means that you're gonna experience all the bad systems from the beginning.
Yes, but I want it.
That's what that means.
I want it. You know what I mean?
That's fine. Yeah, I know what you mean. You want to experience the clean start of a new expansion.
Yeah, I want to be part of the group who suffers with the group for no reason.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm looking forward for Shadowlands.
Yeah, and BFA, I feel like kind of left out. I feel like I could have done all these background things more smoothly and like with more relaxed time. I just trying to crunch a bunch of stuff. So that's why. That's why I'm looking forward to it.
I got you.
Yeah. All right, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's all.
That's all for this week's episode. Once again, thanks for tuning into The Sweaty Farm and the Game Design. My name is Lucho, and you can find me on Twitter at Luis G. Blanco.
And I am the Long Name Gamer. You can find me on Twitter at the Long Name Gamer and on Twitch on twitch.tv/LongNameGamerTV, where I stream Mondays, Thursdays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. Yes, don't forget to share, like, subscribe, ring the notification bell if you are on YouTube. Tell that you hear this podcast to your cat so he can hear it too. Do the Sweaty, the Farmer, and the Game Design. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye. And did you know huckleberries were often compared to persimmons, which are much larger, to express the idea of something small against something big. This eventually led to the popular phrase, "a huckleberry over my persimmon," which means something was just beyond one's ability, which I guess is a saying that you use in the 1980s.
Wow. And the small round berries resemble blueberries. In fact, in some parts of the US, huckleberries might be called blueberries, and blueberries might be called huckleberries. But they are not the same fruit, though.
Yeah. I imagine that this kind of like is the berry that
It is a blue berry.
Correct. No, but it's not only blue. It can come in red and like dark colors, and it's still a huckleberry. But the interesting thing is like it is one of those berries that always get highlighted in movies when people are lost in the wilderness of USA. When they go, yes, those are the berries because they grow in a bunch of parts of USA, right?
I see.
Yeah, so that's like, oh no, these are poisonous and these are not. They're generally huckleberries.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they're like, that's why I feel like super interesting that this fruit exists. I wonder if there's huckleberry jam. I wonder what it tastes like.
Like blueberries. Yeah,
please send huckleberry jam that is not blueberry and send a certification that is actually huckleberry.
That DNA test.